Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Alex Williamson, and I have my wife here, Laura. Say hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura. And she's the reason I'm late.
No, it's not.
I'm like, hey, you want to be on the show? I'm going to blame you as the reason that I'm late.
I just got home.
She just got home, so I was saying hi to her. So sorry for the slight delay. I was also cleaning out one of the fish tanks, and they look really pretty. The sunlight is coming in here right now. And I feel like maybe I should show you guys that before we even start the show. Do you guys want to see that? Can you hear me okay also? Sound check, 1, 2. All right, honey, you disappearing? You don't want to play?
Bye.
All right, have a good time at the gym. How's everybody doing, though, by the way? About time you clean those tanks. Yeah, the tanks are all clean, actually. They have been clean. I just don't keep a clean tank by gravel vac standards that most people do. I keep a clean tank by mulm all over. Hold on, let me pull this up so you guys can, so we can switch cameras and go check out these beautiful cichlids that the Enigmatochromius lucanzi. The pair is just beautiful. They're in spawning color right now, and they're sifting, and the sun's hitting them. So let's take a look at them before we fire anything else up. If I can get this camera up, hold on. Sometimes I have a hard time getting it up. Let's see here. Wait for the echo. Hello? All right, let me turn this around. Okay, so let's see how they come off. The sun was just coming in just right, and it was really beautiful. But here they are. Let's see if we can get the color. So she's purple, and he's got like yellow on top and orange. I'll have to take some better pictures, but you can kind of see when I get the angle right how bright purple she is. She is just gorgeous. And the rainbow fish are all lit up pretty looking with their pink tails. And the chocolate gouramis are all doing good. Here she is again. So check out the metallic shimmer on her. She's just iridescent, and she's got a full belly, like she might have eggs. She's not like bursting with them, but they've been really happy. I've been feeding them live scuds, and the scuds have been making home in the moss and the algae covering the plants. And the male and female, they built this little trench, and I usually let them hide under here, but last night when I cleaned it, I uncovered their den because they've been under there for months and not having babies. So I thought, well, we'll see if forcing them to switch it up maybe will help. So yeah, but there she is. She's eating, I don't know what they are. Duckweed and little white specks in the water. So in any case, they're looking good. The chocolate gouramis are looking good. The epiplatus pancheks, Drusai, he's looking pretty with his orange chin and purple and yellow and black stripes. And then again, as I was saying, the Valenti chocolate gouramis that are mouth brooders, they're all looking good. I'm probably gonna move them and get them their own tank soon. She's chewing on something. I don't know what it is. I haven't fed them yet today, so I don't know what they're chewing on, but they're a lot of times they'll eat little snails, like young ones. So yeah. But I thought I'd show you these because they're a very rare fish that I've only seen the wet spot selling in Portland, Oregon. They're the one of the only other dwarf cribs in the hobby. They're not really cribs actually now. They've been in they're in their own genus and they're in their own grouping now. But she's got this really fine little piping of red and white, almost like a candy cane on the top of her fin, on her dorsal fin. And it's just really cool. I'll upload some pictures for members in the members tab later because yeah, they look really beautiful. Uh, let's just check in on the other fish in the area since everybody got water changes last night. I spent a few hours doing a gallon at a time. So the Haplochromis, this guy's about 6 inches, doing well. The female's doing well. Everybody fights all the time, but that's standard. And then this freak show that I saved, the Arctic, he'll come back. The Arctic convict cichlid, Arctic blue or polar convict cichlid. He's in here and he is ginormous. The male has gotten so big. The female, she's teeny. She's stayed real small, like a platy or something. But the males, we'll wait till he comes back in here. If I feed them, maybe he'll come back in here. But he has gotten he's probably the size of a racquetball. Here he comes. And he is just a bruiser, freak of a fish. I kind of feel bad that they even breed these, so I really don't want to keep spawning them. Like, all the organs are kind of compressed since it's a blood parrot and another convict hunter and red point mixed together. But then just to update you guys too, all the little Turkana jewel cichlids, they're doing really good. They're all of a pretty good size now and starting to get their iridescence and color. And then the other jewel cichlids, they're back under the sponge filter, but they have a group of babies right now that are itty bitty newborns. So it's important to keep all that algae in there so that they have some food other than always putting infusoria in. There's a lake inlay, loach that usually hides. And then we've got my beta rubra female here. She's hanging out. And the male is always hiding. He's usually in the back somewhere. But yeah, so we won't go over all the fish or anything. I just wanted to show you those. And then I'll also show you guys these, because this is comical the last few days as I've been taking care of this male who's sitting on that. He's sitting on a female's little cave here. So he's not happy if I come near him at all. Usually once he's seen that I'm in here, he'll go berserk and attack the net. So the other one, though, the other male is a sneaker male or subdued, subdominant male, whatever you want to call him, and much more chill. But this guy, not so much chill. Less chill exists in his vibe. He'll chase my hand, and I didn't realize they had teeth, but they do have little teeth, enough that they can draw blood. So I've learned that the hard way, and now I don't put my hand in this tank. As you can see, he can rip the net just like that. So this is a net he ripped during a video the other night. So anyways, and all the bettas that are hanging out in here, which seems like a really weird mix to have African cichlids and bettas, doing really well. So yeah, and the female, I wish she would have babies in there, just because it's an unusual and rare species. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get to the news. All right, so, and all right, guys. And can you hear me? Are we okay? Did we make the transition to land? Or is everybody hearing me echoing and so forth and so on? Let me know. Let me know. You hear me? All clear? All right, cool. I'm going to assume that I am all clear. All right, so let's see here. Let me get rid of that. So we got big news in the world of fish, which is cool. I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. What was it? I guess 2019, the end of 2019, right before the world ended, obviously, they found a whole bunch of species of cichlids in a lake in Africa. And there are 42 species, I want to say. This hat's too hot. So yeah, there's like 42 species that they discovered, and pretty incredible stuff that came out of one lake. And that is one lake that is in Africa that people just hadn't explored a ton. It's not like it's in the Congo. I mean, it's in, I think it's in Zimbabwe, Zambia or Zimbabwe. We'll take a look. Hold on. We'll read the article. We'll take a look together. But yeah, I mean, I was just really impressed that 45 species of cichlids that had never been found before were all together in a lake. I mean, it just goes to show you that we could have hundreds of lakes in Africa, in South America, wherever, where specialized species have happened. Now, there's geologically like reasons why they would occur, where they occur. You need the old lakes generally. But ironically, the Rift Valley, even though it's continental plate tectonics going on there that formed the upper Rift Valley lakes and things, I mean, they're not the like Lake Victoria is not a super old lake. It's so yeah. And the other thing is, I just did a video on the meanies that are in the tank over here, and those guys are from Lake Volta on the Volta River in Ghana, and they've already, I mean, they've already evolved or changed as a species so that they're, on average, it was something like a centimeter shorter in height than when they were measured in the 1950s when they were first found. And then the other thing is their color, instead of being dark colors now, they're like a light gray with like a lavender color instead of black and dark brown and stuff like that. They still spawn in the same bright colors, but they actually, you can see their brighter colors on their pectoral fins and their caudal fins and the paired fins basically all over. Way better than in all the old reference photos. It almost looks like a different fish. And that's because they put them they put in a dam in 1961, and by 1965 that was the last year that any fish crossed back and forth between the upper and the lower river there. They didn't install fish ladders for little fish or anything. What are the racks behind me? G-Bear wants to know. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just say my name, Alex, and hopefully I'll see it. But other than that, hit at The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, and then it'll light up like a little beacon for me. Or if you're a member, like ADHD Aquatics is, like I see her on my screen right now, as like I see like a little picture next to her icon, and it like if I'm in top chat, it will load hers and they stay a little bit longer than banter between one another, like especially if you use the @ symbol. So any case, Zen Plantman, welcome. How's everybody doing? I guess I didn't say hi to anybody. So hello all. Pelham's Aquatic, ADHD, Son of Quack, the 186 Element, good to see you. George, Lori with Monster Fish Gal, Nur Muhammad, Patrick, Dragon Lair, Sleeper 362, welcome. New Local Austin, Badaboo 1, Jason Peculiar, Brittany Holt. We got Doctor in the house, Dr. Mazeral's in the house, Pelham Aquatics, Woody, the Harry Woodsman, Dubes, K-Day, Your Average Fish Keeper. Oh, we have so many great people here. So that's just in the last few chats. Angie, David, welcome everybody. So the rack is, it's from, these racks are from not Lowe's, but Home Depot. And they are the Husky brand racks, but they're not the industrial heavy duty ones. They're the ones with the press board that just, honestly, it sucks. It's that particle board made with glue and sawdust and chips. And so I replaced that. I went and bought like actual boat wood is what it's called at Home Depot, which, yeah, that's real specific. But what it is it's 2 pieces of hardwood and then 3 layers of softwood with the grains all going different directions, laminated with an epoxy, and then there's a resin coated around the whole thing. And so I bought that. It's expensive wood, like it was as much as the racks, but I cut then 4 sheets of that. And so then basically I have like a little over 1.5 feet in between the top 3 levels, and then the bottom level has 2 feet. But the racks were only $58.99 or something like that on sale, and I think usually they're only about $70. But I bought 2 of those, and they're 4 feet, but not exactly. They're like 4 foot 1 inch. So I just barely. I'd planned on putting this this big 40 bow front in between them, and then a tank under it, or maybe a supply chest. And that didn't happen, and we literally just had to drop it off there when we were moving, and that kind of like hosed everything up for the rest of the time we're here, just because you know how it goes. You put down a tank when you have the help and everything, and then it's hard to get it moved again. Kevin Rooney, Alex, I got a pair of young cribs thanks to watching your videos on them. How hard of water can they breed in? 7.4. If they're bred in hard water, they can do okay in the 7.5. Some people have said all the way up to like 8-ish range, but generally like closer to neutral is better. Like they love a water change. If you do like a 50% water change after you've let them sit for 2 or 3 weeks, it'll really kind of get them going, especially if you feed them a high protein diet of like bloodworms or blackworms, frozen or live, even better. You'll really get them in the mood. Nur Muhammad says, I'm convinced I have a brown thumb, especially when it comes to stem plants. Can you give me some planting, growing, propagating them? You know, honestly, most people think that they have done something wrong or that they're no good at it. And what it comes down to is, well, 1, substrate, but 2, the light. A lot of people don't have a light. If you go with the light that you get in a kit at like Petco or PetSmart or you know, Costco or wherever, it's not going to do well for you. Those lights are basically so that you can see the fish. They will not give enough energy to it. And then if you put it somewhere in the sun or whatnot, you'll get algae a lot of the time. So yeah, it's a little tricky, but watch my videos on tissue cultures if you're doing those, on how to prevent plants from melting. And then my lighting videos go over a lot of info. They're called Let There Be Light, and there's 3 of them. They were live streams, and I reviewed a bunch of different lights. It's 3 years old now, but that one is a decent video series on information if you're trying to get oriented. But the light is really important. Your fish will create the poo and the nutrients. Hopefully you won't create too many organics in your tank by having dead plants. So when they do die,
pull them out because they're just going to break down into ammonia and or nitric acid and carbonic acid, humic acid, and that will cause algae and other stuff. So that would be my main thing. You know, the food you feed is what's going to feed your plants too. So you want like enriched foods and things. Goodness gracious. The mean fish just picked up a nearite snail and was eating it. And now he seems to have stopped, like he got caught. He's just staring at me like I'm not doing anything with the nearite flaying right there. I'm curious to see if he'll go back at it. No, he's got to keep his lady in the cave. There's definitely some domestic violence going on between this couple. If that little female, she'll beat up on him too. So I don't know. But yeah, then the next thing you want to think about with plants is your substrate, and you need root tabs. You need fertilizer if you're really trying to do stem plants. You need that good light, and you need some sort of source of nutrients. I think root tabs are best to start with. And then if you get into the more finicky plants, you can start using a liquid like daily or weekly fertilizer. That's what I would say. But let's stick to the news. I want to get there because I know I'll get sidetracked otherwise. But yeah, so let's see here. Let me open up. Also, I guess we should probably look at a map of what we're looking at too. So we'll get that fired up. Fire it up. Womp, womp, womp. All right. And let's get that article up. And ADHD, yeah, let's see if there are some cute ones. Honestly, I read this when the exploration in late 2019 happened, but they've updated the article, and hopefully they've got pictures. If not, we'll look for some of them too. I really, just because of that new law coming in, none of the newest or rarest species, especially if they don't have a scientific name yet, would be priority for anybody. I mean, if they don't make a ton of money and they're obscure, you know, it's a good time to get them now. Are they still dealing with Nile perch in the Rift Lakes? So Victoria, not that you said it is. Hey, Hippie John the Fisherman, what's up, man? The Nile tilapia and Nile perch are a problem. They killed a lot of species, but they also forced a lot of cichlids into new niches and restructured things. So they're actually seeing, again, like I was saying, just in the years since the 1960s and 70s when these things happened, they've seen actually that they're adapting. Now, some got wiped out and they're extinct, and that's really a bummer. But they are also adapting. So, I mean, life will find a way, especially in a big lake. Now, a smaller lake, you only have so much that can happen. Marcy Oldhouse says, I have a 20-gallon aquarium with 2 mystery snails, 2 female mollies, 3 black skirt tetras, and good water parameters, but I have 1 female molly hiding in the corner. What should I do? I would get another female molly or a male molly, like 1 male, 2 or 3 females. I know that's a lot of babies potentially, but the mollies are a social fish. They are a live bear, and they like plants. So any plants high up in the tank will be good. She'll feel safer that way. And also just continuing to feed them little teeny bits. Don't overfeed the tank or whatnot. Yes, that's true, Anthony. Dr. Anthony, that is. 99.9% of all species that have ever existed have become extinct. 'Tis the season for that extinction. But humans seem to be wiping things out way faster than any other time other than a great dying. They call it the great dying, and also the dinosaur extinction. But the great dying was probably a volcanic and maybe some sort of gas event where either methane or some other gas built up and essentially smothered life on Earth within, you know, a few hundred years. Let's see. No, in Lake Victoria. Dr. Anthony, tell us about Lake Victoria right now. But I know that in the Rift Lakes, the tilapia and perch species have eaten a lot of fish. I don't know about Victoria in particular. What happened? I thought they had tilapia. Did they not have tilapia in Victoria, Doctor? Are you saying that? Because I thought they were fishing them, and I thought I even watched a special about an island in the middle of the lake and how they've started eating more tilapia, obviously, and stopped eating some of the larger cichlids that used to be on the menu. So that's kind of a mixed blessing, sort of. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that wasn't Lake Victoria. I don't want to be putting out wrong info. Correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor. All right, let's get that screen share up with the new species. Nile perch eating all the species. Dr. Anthony, are you saying they are or they are not? Because I was assuming they are eating them all. Yeah. Yeah, Marcy, if you only have 2 female mollies, I'd get a male or add another female. I mean, they're social fish, so get a group of them. Get like 4 or 5 total. Keep more females than males because the males will hassle the females. Yeah, that's what I would suggest. All right, ADHD. All right, all these European sites and stuff too. Now you have to okay that you're getting cookies. All right, so researchers find over 40 new species in one lake alone. There are many thousands of species inhabiting the world's waters. Recently, researchers have uncovered around 40 new species in a lake in Africa. The number is impressive, but investigators explain how these new varieties came to be. There are over 34,000 freshwater species. I know, I hope there's some super cute dwarf cichlids ADHD too, and some, you know, some crib type fish, some pelvicochromis or whatnot, or enigmatochromis, which is really just a holding place name. Whoa! Man, just kicking it up a notch. Kicking it up there, that's not a notch. That's fully felling the lumber, the tree. Alexander Engelhart, as the usual, for the win. Thank you so kindly for that. It really does help, and I've been really trying to do the deep dive nerdy stuff while I'm all laid up from the back surgery. So I should probably do some more fluffy content in between, interspersed or beginner level content, but I really just enjoy digging deep and telling you everything you could ever want to know about a leaf you could add to your tank or something like that, you know. So like the Tannin series will continue even if no one watches it, just because I'm interested in it. But yeah, I mean, that content takes a long time to research and sometimes to film, depending on what the thing is. I try to do things in one take, so a lot of times it's one take 20 times if the animals are not cooperating, or if the glare's wrong or whatever, or if I screw up halfway through the take really badly anyways. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. ADHD, leave the beginner content to me. I'm going to start making them videos, but I need your nerdy videos to make those. All right. Lemal or ADHD. Featherfin Films, don't worry, I watched the whole Tannin thing. All right, glad to hear it. Chris, I got you. I hear you. Hippie John the Fisherman. Alex loves the deep dives. I learn best by someone telling me the info. Yeah, I like a story, or you know, I don't know. Even just watching fish, like even if I'm doodling, since I was a kid, even if I'm doodling or watching someone talk, like in a vlog setup, or you know, like in a studio, like you know, for instance, Aquarium Co-op, if it's just Corey talking or whatever, I still learn better that way a lot of times than just by like reading or skimming a picture. And for some reason, when I know that it's live or that it's someone that I kind of know or that I can reach out to and ask questions to, I care that much more because I feel like I can engage with the content. And I hope you guys feel the same. I mean, that's why I do this. Thank you, ADHD. I really appreciate that. Listening to my deep dives in Walmart. Do they have any guava? I need guava. That's what you were searching at, huh? No, it's all good. Dr. Anthony, I want to know if I mess something up, or if you know something and I say something goofy. All of you, by the way, please correct me. I mean, I want this to be as educational as possible, and I don't know everything about everything, obviously. I don't even know I don't even know like most of any one subject. I wouldn't say that's very limited. So I don't even have a specialty. I just find life very interesting. Yes, exactly what Mary said. Okay, Chris says you lost your membership and can't rejoin or update the expired payment. Might have to go in and like delete your info and then rejoin or rejoin. I don't know. I'm a complete idiot with tech. I'm gonna shut up. I'll stick to what I know a little bit better, which is fish. All right. So in a paper published in the journal Nature, which is probably, I mean, as far as fish species and things go, that or like Ecology, probably the most prestigious or well-known publication out there. Dr. Meir and his colleagues say that the body, or Meier, M-E-I-E-R, Meir, I don't know how to say it. His colleagues say that the body of water they focused on was Lake Mweru, Mweru, which lies on the border between Zambia and the Congo. Okay, so I was a little bit wrong when I was saying at the beginning, it's not like they went deep into the Congo. So they did go to the border of the Congo, though. It houses a spectacular diversity of fish, most of which zoologists had never encountered before. How does this happen in a place that's had railroads for 150 years, 170 years, and has been colonized and has had kingdoms for thousands of years of, you know, Arabs and Bantu and the local people, like all taking turns taking over areas. How did the info not get passed on? I mean, you'd have to assume that the locals knew, like, hey, there's some weird fish in this lake compared to the other ones. I would assume. What's up, Donnie Wolf? Welcome. All right, so scientists also studied the waters of Lake Bangawulu. Man, that's hard to say. Bangweulu. Bangweulu. Okay, Bangweulu. In Zambia, but found no evidence of such diversity. So even though it was nearby, and this was kind of a special little lake. So the new species of cichlids adapt to use the available food resources in the lake. She notes that they feed on insect larvae, other zooplankton, or algae. Some new fish are predators with large teeth, which are named large-toothed cerenchromines. That just stops. Okay, that thought just stops. But how did the new species evolve? The research explained that most of the species present in the lake are actually a hybrid, meaning they are a product of interspecies breeding. Yet this is not as straightforward as it may seem. Members of different species do not typically choose to mate with each other. For interspecies breeding to occur, certain special conditions must be in place. The females are key in this equation. When researchers conducted studies on cichlids in captivity, they noticed that females from one species would only choose to mate with a male from a different species if its scales were of a similar color to the males of that species. So the spawning colors need to be the same, which I think is pretty interesting. Also, I see Mary mentioning my secret history merch, which now I do have some that says actually the secret history on it, whereas before I didn't. It just all said nothing. It had a picture of a Corridora and then like a mechanical or clockwork stylized Corridora or a betta or a shrimp or a goldfish or whatever. But now I have some that have the actual channel name because some folks said they wanted that. I need to get stickers made. I keep getting hit up for stickers, so I know I need to do that as well. I want to get some ones that are clear, like a vinyl sticker that you could in theory put on a car or a tank, like just a one color monochrome type thing. But all the money from February I am going to donate after the cuts taken from it from the credit card company and Teespring. I want to give to Vinay Color Guppies, which as a community we've raised over $10,000 for him, which is so cool to see. But unfortunately he lost his son, and his wife is battling aggressive cancer. He's working 3 jobs, had to give up the hobby basically and sell a lot of his stuff. So as a community, we're working on that. So if you do buy any merch, I try to keep the profit margin on it at about 10 to 15% markup for what I make off of anything on Teespring. So that's what will go to him. It's not a huge. It's usually like $2 profit on a t-shirt, 5 to 6 on a hoodie or something like that. All right, so the cichlid fish need the ecological opportunity provided by new habitats of Lake Mweru, formed 1 million years ago, which is still considered to be recent in evolutionary terms. That more than 40 species utilizing different food resources and habitats could evolve so rapidly is highly unusual. When Lake Mweru was formed, it combined cichlid lineages from the Congo and the Zambezi rivers, I'm guessing. The cichlids from these different drainage systems then mated with each other. This could have been because the lake was formed, the water was very cloudy, and they couldn't see properly. That sounds like BS to me. That sounds like a made-up thing. I bet fish can tell each other apart even if the water's cloudy. So the females were not being as choosy about selecting their mate. I don't buy that hypothesis. Mating between the cichlids from different drainage systems produced a very diverse offspring, combining genetic traits of both parental species. Well, duh. Okay, all right. So this is all kind of no-brainer hybrid stuff that we've talked about, apparently. But where's a list of the species? So let's look that up. Lake Mweru. All right, so is this going to be in the same window so you guys can see it? Yeah. So here's where the lake is. You guys are all familiar with this, I'm sure. So let's zoom out. So here's Lake Malawi and then Lake Tanganyika. Hold on. Lake Tanganyika right here. So it's really close to Lake Tanganyika, like 40 miles. It looks like there's a really hard to see legend or scale there. But I mean, look at all the lakes that are in this region where all these fault lines you can kind of follow where the continents smashing into one another or ripping apart from one another, depending on where you are in the world. But any of those like big continental force locations, you have the possibility of getting some really crazy species because it's old geology that is taking place there. Now, Victoria up here, probably, I mean, biggest lake in the world by surface area. And by volume, it's number 2, I want to say, behind Lake Baikal in Russia, which happens to be like 15,000 feet deep. So it's an anomaly. It's a crazy lake. All right, Dee Dee, take care. Ladies' Night is starting up in about a half hour. So, yeah, folks, go check out Ladies' Night tonight for sure. Over on, whose channel is that on tonight? Is that on 503 or is it on Jess's? Or who are we going to for the debauchery, the ladies' chat, the ladies throwing down the knowledge? Who knows what it'll be? It could be a mix. But in any case, look at this. We got like Lake Albert here. We've got all these other little lakes. And I say little, these aren't little lakes. If I pull the scale over the lake, like this little Lake Edward here, it looks little compared to Lake Victoria. This thing is 20 miles across, 50 miles long. It's just Lake Victoria is insane. Like it's 100 miles across or so, and 250 if you go diagonally up it. So pretty, okay, so it's on 503 Aquatics channel. Awesome. So if you guys want to watch Ladies' Night in half hour, definitely check them out. They're all very kind people and very funny people. With Shanna, Jess, and Dee Dee. Right on. Thank you, Dee Dee. And there's a link in the chat. So we'll look up the fish that are in this lake. But I mean, I've never been here. Let's look at the satellite because I don't think this is hard to get to. There's highways that run all around it. Now they may be jacked up, dusty highways, like is so often the case when you go to Africa and whatnot. But I'm guessing, let's see here. I'm guessing, I mean, yeah, there's some good-sized towns along here. All right, it's being slow. But there also is a lot of wilderness. So, but I mean, Maninga, I'd be curious then what's in all these river, or, you know, this river here that drains out. Like if you follow this river down from that lake that has 45 new species, you follow this river all the way down and around, it meets up with the drainage from Lake Tanganyika. Also, one river goes this way, but there's also a river valley right here through Kasama. All right, so let's see if we can find some pictures of the Lake Mweru cichlids. And oh wow, look at this lake actually. So it looks like people, at least a few people, have some money on this lake. That gives you an idea of how big this lake is, even though it looks small on the map. So kind of unique. And yeah, okay, there are full-blown big cities, just as I assumed, on this lake. Or, you know, crowded. Looks muddy. But it's kind of crazy that we can't get fish from this lake. Like, they're not in the hobby yet, and it's 2022. Just kind of interesting to me. Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, I guess probably the Dutch came in there at some point. That looks like Dutch windmills, colonial period and whatnot. But let's try to find those cichlids. So now we kind of get an idea what the lake looks like. There's even an island in the lake, and there's even a little pond on the island. So there's a lake within a lake, within a continent, within an ocean. I was trying to see if there were any shots of the lake underwater here on the side, like any the edge of the water, but it looks like just a big lake. All right, so Lake Mweru Cichlids. All right. Well, we got to get out of maps, I guess. So we got to just go to normal Google. Apparently, it has a 4.0 rating if you want a vacation there. It's lovely this time of year, I hear. All right. Let's go to the Lake Mweru Cichlids. Of course, they've got all the Tanganyikan stuff. You know, I love these kind of things. When they show you a breakdown of, let's see, is this going to let me zoom in on the stream too? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I love these where it shows you what the different bodies of fish and bodies of water, for that matter, look like. So right here, I mean, just to show you like known species, we've got over 200 species in Lake Victoria, Tanganyika, and Malawi. Yeah, that's the fish that I have essentially. At least an old variation of it, Haplochromis and Pterochromis. The colors are almost identical. The head's a little different, but the colors are identical. So, I mean, there's probably so many hybrids. Now, Malawi has, in my opinion, some real saltwater looking fish. Like, they look more like reef fish in my mind, with the big heads, like a sheep's head or something, and the pointy beaks and the big nuchal humps, you know. But here we've got the family tree of these things, which now, luckily, we've now been able to genetically sequence. But even in these little lakes, some of these have 2 to 15 species of cichlids. And this lake, or this map should actually, it should show right here, this little lake also having a ton. It should show up in here there being more. Lawrence Kent collected all along up in here and found many cichlid species. So yeah, but we want to find the Lake Mweru, the new species. The papers published on them, there's paper on each species that I was able to find out of those 40, because it was a team that went in together and they did that. But I want to know if maybe somebody's put together a little map of the lake, or of we'll make sure that it's got to have Lake Mweru in it. All right, here we go. So that's a cute one, ADHD. Pseudocrenulabrus nicolesi. Pseudocrenulabrus. Now, Pseudocrenulabrus, is that a genus? Oh, the Egyptian mouth brooder is what that's related to, from the Nile. Interesting. Oh, is this a Lake Mweru map? Does it have? Yes. Woohoo! We found what we needed. All right. Now I'll have to switch which window is being shared, because there we go. There we go. We got an article. ADHD, you're going to be happy. There's some cute little fish in here. But before I change that, I just want to do a little survey There are some really cool ones in the Upper Congo nearby too. There are some fish that look downright tropical in this area. There sure are. We already know those cichlids. Those aren't the droids we're looking for. All right, so we'll open this other window. We'll share this other window. Get out of my life, window. Hi guys, it's me again. I'm gonna make the. Hey Alex, could you cover the topic of the Devil's Hole pupfish? I've talked about it in live streams. It's been covered a lot in other videos like National Geographic and stuff. But I mean, it's a cool fish. I've gone down there and visited the area. I tried to see the hole, but it was closed. The hole wasn't closed. The facility was. And then they have another offsite facility where they tried to replicate the exact conditions of these extreme desert dwelling fish. But for a while, when I went down there, there were only 78 fish left. And they didn't know why they all died. And then literally the next year there were 290 again, and then like 340. So it's a very bizarre thing that this species exists, and there never, they think, been more than about 500 individuals. It's a wild thing, and there are a lot of pupfish around the world. So yeah, all right, let's pull up this article here on East African Lake Mweru. It's getting fun now to share the name of the lake. Before, I was not having fun. All right. So look at this guy. It's like a Turkana jewel cichlid, but bright yellow. Same with the blue. It looks super cool. I need this fish. What is this fish? All right, so this whole article is kind of going over Darwin's finches and like how this Lake Mweru is such a hot spot of hybridization. This is what I wanted to see right here, and this is from the expedition right here. Yes, I don't know if everybody will have access to this. I do. Yeah, this is from the journal Nature. And this is the actual publication of their work. But if we look over here, they're not super bright photos. Like that fish, I'm sure is gorgeous. These pictures aren't doing the fish justice. In some cases, I'm actually wondering if the fish are dead the way the fins are clamped. In fact, I would guess these fish are dead. Maybe Dr. Anthony knows. These look like some dead fish to me with the clamped fins. So the color is going to be all jacked up. But this number 5 group, I'm real interested in. Also, this looks like the cutest nanochromis with fat little face. I love it. All right, let's see if they explain the group lineage. Oh yeah, okay. So they have the haplochromines. And then they have the small toothed, and then they have philander, and then they have oh, they're still in haplochromine, but and they have 3 species here. Other cichlids, well, that's not very specific, but Tylochromis, Oreochromis, Tylochromis, tilapia, Coptodon, tilapia, Oreochromis, Oreo, the white stuff. All right, so group 5 is these fish names right here: Tylochromis mylodon, Tylochromis reagani, Oreochromis mweruensis, Tylochromis bangwulurensis, Tilapia rueti, Coptodon randolii, Tilapia sparmani, and then Oreochromis macrocher. And then they've got the orthochromines. So it looks like they're also including the Congo drainage, but right above Lake Mweru. So it says up here to Luvua. And then this is another river that I've seen other species from in the hobby. So they've actually checked this river, which is Kalungwishi and Lufubu, which Lufubu is also a Tanganyika drainage. So it has fish from like Tanganyika, but it has some of the riverine ones. Have I collected fish from the wild? Only in the United States. I have been dying to go collecting in Africa or Southeast Asia or South America, and someday I will. I've had health issues limiting me, and also just not the money. My wife and I saved up for years, basically 10 years, to buy a house. And what kept happening was because of my lupus with my health issues, and which causes swelling in all my joints, and then blistering of my skin and my organs to shut down sometimes, or at least start that process of shutting down. It has cost a lot of money in medical bills. Plus, then when I got hit by lightning in 2018, that set us back. But we went to Europe, and I collected there. I collected in Hawaii saltwater fish, and also went looking for guppies and stuff. That was before I had the channel. I've collected in Florida, and there's videos of that. I also went to the Florida, the research place for wild fish in Florida in Destin. What's it called? Or Destin, Florida, near Bradenton. What's it called? The Florida Aquacultural Research Center. That's what it's called. Alishon says orthochromis species are a nice group from Mweru. Nice. Yeah, I would. Yeah. So we'll do this plug. Okay, I'll play your game. I think you're in on my. We're going to be chatting some more in the future, Dr. Anthony, about our nonprofit too, the Green Earth Alliance, which Ivan and Yelka Ecology are in with me in cahoots. We've set up that, which is a micro loan / not loan, but grant is the word, not micro loan, but a micro grant site for developing nations and education systems, universities, freelance researchers, anybody doing conservation essentially, and starting with people that Ivan knows. We'll be kicking off some auctions and some things like that, and I'll tell you guys about that. But Dr. Mazaral Anthony, or the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fishes, who's in the chat right now, he has a website. If you go there to the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fishes, I also have interviews with him. You can check out where he talks about it. It's a really nice facility with AC and modern conveniences in a city of like, I don't know, 400,000 or something in the metro area. And it's dead smack in the middle of the rainforest. I think you have to fly in. There's like one road in, but you have to fly in or boat in essentially. And it's just this bustling metropolis in the middle of the rainforest down in Peru. And he is doing a raffle where you donate $50 is all. And it starts in March, I believe. You donate $50 and you get a chance from the drawing of not that many tickets, really. I mean, you're going to have like a 1 in a couple hundred chance probably of winning, going full paid, 2 people, down to flight and everything, down to Peru to stay with him for a week, go collecting, stay in the dorms that he has there. And even if you don't want to do that, it's a good way to kind of, grease the palms, as it were. Not that he would ever stoop to that. I'm sure Dr. Anthony is far above that. But I'm just saying it wouldn't hurt to donate to his cause if you want to hit him up and go stay at his sweet facility where he's also building a public aquarium and education center for the locals there. A lot of them, I mean, just like a lot of people who live in the U.S. don't know what our native fish are. They don't know what's in the lakes near them and around them. They couldn't tell you anything other than the game species that are eaten. Same is true with most of the world and ornamental fish. And the biodiversity, a lot of times they don't know, they don't realize that other places aren't different. I mean, it's just taken for granted, especially by kids, but I mean, by adults too. And so, yeah. And I suppose if you don't have $50 for a ticket, you could also just get a couple friends in. I mean, it's for 2 people. If you got $25, you could both go. 700,000 people in Iquitos. Wow, okay. It's way bigger than it says during the last census. Wow, it's grown. I guess that was probably 10 years ago or whatever, though, the data that I was reading from. It was an older book. Wow, that's crazy how much it's growing. Okay, raffle starts March 1st through the 31st. Right on. Yeah, that'll be really cool. So I'm definitely promoting that. And obviously the money, even if you don't win the raffle, obviously the money is going towards research, conservation, reintroduction of species that are poached and found at customs and whatnot. When they find something like a shovel nose or, you know, a giraffe cat or something that's not supposed to come out, depending on what it is. I don't know. Maybe they're allowed to take giraffe cats, but I think it was a shovel nose they weren't supposed to be able to take out. It was the tiger shovel nose. And they had that. They gave it, the only place in the whole country, they give it to Dr. Anthony and his wife at the center. And they actually are going to try to breed them / re-release them, reintroduce them into the wild. So it's really important work. Plus, it's also, if you're a grad student or you're just someone who's a hardcore hobbyist and you want to go collecting, you want to get, I mean, there's over 300 species right there and over 800 species altogether. I think they're within about 50 miles of Iquitos city limits, according to the internet, is what I counted. There's like 820 some fish species and well over 300 that were in the hobby. So pretty cool though. Angie McGee, if I won, would you come with me? Yes. Yes, I mean, as long as my health was up for the challenge, which, yes. I mean, especially since it's in the city, and, I mean, we could go out collecting. I mean, I take it they're not going out for days on end, bushwhacking or anything like that. I could do a trip like that. Now, I used to go hiking and backpacking all the time, where I would just have my backpack and I would be, you know, alone in the woods or with a couple people and camping, not even with the tent a lot of times. And I really miss that. I just, with my spine now messed up in 3 spots and stuff, can't do it the way I used to. And then with my autoimmune condition, I've had to be careful with, you know, I wouldn't want to get some tapeworm or, you know, something like that. Although, on that note, there was a study I was reading that showed that catfish actually have no allergic response to speak of against a bunch of different venomous stuff. And when they get stung or if they eat a bee, for instance, their mouth tissue won't swell because they have so many parasites in their gut. And those parasites oftentimes release key chemicals like mosquitoes do right before they bite, or leeches do. They put a numbing medication, so to speak, on the site, and then they pump your blood with an anticoagulant when they're done. Some species actually add a coagulant. Like, it's quite amazing. And the tapeworm, or in a safer route that wouldn't take all your good nutrients, pinworms, they've found, while that can cause slowness and it can cause, you know, exhaustion and things like that, the pinworms are something that people are now actually eating, like for a few months on end. Then they'll take an anti-parasitic dewormer and get it out. But they're finding in, I think it was a Dutch study, but they're finding that in equatorial regions, humans have like hardly any allergies as just a baseline thing. Like, granted, there's always going to be somebody who has some crazy allergy to shellfish or peanuts or whatnot, whatever. But it's nowhere near what we see in Europe and Asia and North America, the developing world. And people used to eat tapeworms all the time. I'm not saying you should, but I'm just saying it's interesting, especially with like the pinworms and stuff like that. And you'll lose a bunch of weight. Fried green worms and tomatoes. Yeah, that's right. So what else did I have to tell you guys today? Well, there is a new article out on how fish are sentient, how they are able to see themselves in their reflection and react. And a bunch more studies were done trying to get at whether they could understand that they exist, essentially. Like, dogs and cats cannot figure that out ever. You can give them a mirror forever and they will not figure that out. Apparently, quite a few little fish can figure it out. And it led me to wonder, and I was talking to Dragon Lair about this, like if it's because they live in a world that's reflective, like whether that's salinity differences and you get like when a river comes into a lake and it's different salinity or density or whatnot, and you can actually sometimes see like two types of water, and there's actually a mirror effect where those two waters, it's like it works like a lens. And so whether it's that or the top of the water, there's a lot of reflection in a fish's life. And so maybe it behooved fish to understand that's just me when they see themselves right under the surface of water. So I kind of was wondering about that. But it's an interesting study, and I'll be covering it. I'll be doing my week for next week. I'll be doing my episodes for members too. And for the Aquatic Morning Show this week, they've been doing the Aquashella jig, and so I kind of didn't do it between that and my health and everything. And also, they are not as self-aware, as dolphins. Well, I would guess not. Yeah. The other thing that recently came out that was kind of interesting was I was just reading that in the Amazon, right now there are 158 dams on the Amazon River and its tributaries. But right now, as of today, there are 351 more proposed dams. And those dams have to pick something between full flood stage and dry season, somewhere in there, of where they're going to put the water at downstream from the dam and then in the reservoir of the dam. And usually the reservoir of the dam is going to flood to like half of flood stage or something, and then they'll use that to regulate. But it floods, you know, a huge area, way bigger than the river traditionally covered. And the Montebello Dam right now on the Rio Xingu or Chingu River is not good. And things like the zebra pleco are threatened because the silt, the nutrients, everything that's supposed to come down river and work its way, the phosphates, all that, is not coming from thousands of miles up into the foothills of the Andes and everything. It's not winding its way down and around. It's piling up in the lake, and then it's deeper. And so a lot of times these fish species that are in equatorial regions, they spawn right in the shallows, or they spawn in the plants or in the rocks or in the vegetative zone in the benthic zone rather than the pelagic zone, and they lose that, and it's pretty clear that it's hard to get zebra cichlids to spawn, or plecos rather, and so it makes me wonder, will that be the end of them, or will they be able to adapt? But I mean, it's a good chance that will be the end of them. Atkins Nature says, "Hey Alex, sorry I'm just late. Just broke down a 2-year-old tank because my roommate's child dumped 2 whole containers of food in the tank. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Check email for those articles on." Yeah, I mean, Jason is saying Scotland's salmon population has been destroyed by hydroelectric dams. Brown trout too. There are whole rivers near you that are now rock beds. Yeah, Washington is similar here in our state, well, and all the U.S. But I mean, the Colorado River is just jacked beyond belief. It's in critical drought. They're also getting rid of some dams, though. They got rid of the dam on the Olympic Peninsula Lake, the Elwha River, and the little reserve behind it is now cleared up, and it's no longer a dam. It's a total free-flowing lake. I keep saying lake, river, and it's been a decade almost. So the year was 2011, I want to say, when they blew the dam up and then removed the pieces with bulldozers and stuff. And within like 3 years, the fish started returning. So it's pretty encouraging that if there's anything left of a population, they will get back at it. Yeah, man, I would make that kid eat a whole can of fish food for dumping 2 cans in your tanks. I'm sorry, Ian, that sucks. All right, let's see here. But yeah, they're working on a new tool that is like an app for countries to be able to figure out. It takes basically input data of how deep fish spawn and on what substrate, and then it can calculate the speed of the river, the volume of the water going by, and how much that will slow down or speed up, laid out on a map of the reservoir and the river where a dam has been placed. And so you get this like heat map of, red, yellow to green to blue to, whatever, to purple. But you'll get a map showing what areas will be ideal and everything. And so by using GIS studies and input, somebody at the Carey Institute of Ecosystem Studies, I guess, was able to figure out that they can overlay that over it. And with this it's basically an algorithm. They can then forecast which zones will be most affected, which, like, if sand usually settles somewhere or sandbars form in the river versus gravel versus pea gravel versus a boulder field where there's rapids. It'll show what the changes will do, and they can dial it up or down by how much flow the dam is allowing through, and they can then optimize how much water they need for a project versus, like, well, maybe we cut that by 20% and less electricity gets made, but it saves X, Y, and Z species. So apparently it's pretty effective, and they're using it in the Amazon right now, a system called Amazon Eco Vistas, and it's an algorithm, with 142 inputs, and it's a heat map GIS program. So if you're into geology and those kind of things, geography, mapping, GIS is a pretty sweet tool. All right, guys. Well, I am going to get out of here, hit the road before ladies' night, and then Bentley Pasco. if you guys head over to their stream, hashtag Alex sent you would be much appreciated, just because like to send those folks love. Bentley's channel name is just Bentley Pasco. He's here in Washington State with me, and then there's also the ladies' night over on 503 Aquatics. Alex, have your Pandagara ever spawned successfully in your community tank? Frank, my Pandagaras have spawned 3 fish when I had it set up as a Hillstream tank with a power head. How, when, why, I have no idea. It literally was just that I had more of these fish, and they were small, you know, like an inch long when I found the babies. So they'd been in there for a while growing up. So no, I've not successfully spawned them, unfortunately. But, oh, sweet. Mountain Greenery GIS was your major? Maybe we should talk. I feel like there'd be some cool projects we could do about. I've always wanted to chart out a little bit better, like inlay in Burma or Myanmar. Also, guys, thanks. ADHD says, I'm going to add this stream to my new favorite streams playlist. Love new fish. Yeah, there's a lot of new fish coming out right now. They just found 3 new loaches in China, another new chana or snakehead in India. They found like 4 new batis in the last year. I mean, I wish somebody would publish like a running list of the stuff that's been discovered. But the problem is you have to read in so many languages, like Chinese, Russian, like all these different scientists. There doesn't seem to be one central. I mean, the IUCN or something like that, I suppose, probably. But if it's not threatened and if it's not of economic importance yet, that stuff gets overlooked, and there's just no good database that I know of. But I'd love if there was. I mean, there's FishBase and there's a few other ones, but they are have a lot left to be desired as far as being completely up to date, because it's such a behemoth task. Alan Bauer, what's going on, buddy? Are you planning on going to the AGA conference? I was not planning on it. You know, like I said, the surgery on my back has been real expensive, and I mean, it's nothing crazy, but between that and the fact that we bought the house in the last year, channel's doing well. I'm doing graphic design work on the side, but I had to slow down around this surgery. I am back at it again, doing that stuff. But Seattle's just friggin' expensive. Medical, you know, life's just expensive. So I want to go to the Triple Crown, and I feel like that's the one that I'm going to try to make more than the AGA. But I really do love the AGA. And it was really fun to go. And when I met you and some of the other cool folks that I met at the Aquatic Gardeners Association meeting, which is every 2 years, by the way, it's pretty cool. And a lot of people come from Europe and things, and they're able to bring plants and things up for auction that are very exotic and cool and like one of a kind. People like Crystal Castleman and Karen Randall. Well, all right, folks. I hope that everybody is going to have a good night. I really do appreciate y'all coming here and hanging out. But it's the end of the old dusty trail now. So I am going to call it a night. I'll probably be in some chats either in Ladies Night or over on Bentley Pasco's channel, maybe both. I don't know. But thank you so incredibly much, Alexander Engelhart. Seriously, you make a huge difference in my existence. You helped me get by with your super chat. So I won't forget it. I wish I could do more for you. I wish I could do something for you other than just make silly videos, but thank you. And thank you to everyone who's members, super chatters, or just people who watch, share, like, comment, all that stuff. I really appreciate you. And I totally understand, you know, not having money to throw down on everything that you're interested in. That would be ridiculous to expect that from anybody. So I just appreciate y'all being here with me. Thank you. Alan, thank you so much. $5.99 super chat. Good night. I appreciate it, buddy. I need to hit you up soon and talk about how your immersed plant project's going and your fish room and all that. Thank you, though. And thank you, mods. Thank you so much, Mary, Lori, and anybody else who's throwing it down, putting down the hammer, all that stuff. I appreciate it. I'll be back on Friday, and I think I'm going to go early again, 4:30 rather than 7:30. I think. I'll post in the community tab if that's not the case. But stay tuned. Should have a video or two this week before that. And also on the Aquatic Morning Show next week, I'll have the little news segments. And for members, they'll get them all at once early. And the most recent one is on the community tab. If you are a new member or something, then it will, you can go there again and take a look at it. They're all saved up there. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. It's so good to chill with you guys and just nerd out on fish. I know I meander a bit, and tonight I was a little tired, but thank you so much. And remember to take care of your critters, take care of your plants, your fish, your water parameters, and of course, take care of yourself, where you can't take care of any of the other things. So I think if half of us did half of that half the time, we'd have a world that was twice as good. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.